Alright folks, today on Free Field Training we're doing a little follow-up of the Lynx Defense Ankle Medical Kit. I did a video before about the Ankle Medical Kit talking about the kit itself and how it works and what it looks like and what I was doing with it initially. And then I was going to go to the 2017 EMS Expo, which was a lot of fun. And I told everyone in that original video that while I was at the Expo, I was going to be looking for lighter medical gear and different options that would fit in this kit. And I've got a whole bunch of stuff here that is a lot slimmer and a lot easier to carry around than my initial setup, which was the huge pressure dressing and the big old tourniquet. So let's take a look at it. I found some stuff that is light and will fit, and some stuff that is light and fits, but I don't really want to carry around because there's really a minimal amount of stuff that I'm willing to put on my ankle long term. The pressure dressing and the tourniquet worked, but I really didn't need that it worked because I carry a tourniquet on my gear, on my belt. And so I am now taking a look at other stuff I can put on here that is thin enough but gives me more medical kit capabilities without slowing me down. This medical kit, the way I have it set up now, weighs almost nothing, and we're going to take a look at what I've done with it. There's two stretchy areas here on the cuff, and what I've done is I've put rubber gloves in there. That's worked out pretty well. Then at least I know I always have at least one set of rubber gloves on me, even if I've managed to use the other two when I'm at work. And then in one pouch, I have a smaller pressure dressing from H&H Medical. I'm going to put links for all this stuff down in the description. Even the stuff I found that I have decided not to use, I'm going to put links down for where you can get this stuff down in the description. This is a thin pressure dressing because it's vacuum sealed, so it hugs. You can actually see I've curved it by using it so much. It hugs pretty close to your ankle on the kit, and it's in thick wrap. It shows all this stuff. It's packaged very thickly, so that way you don't end up having cuts or something in it that it's going to break through. I've been wearing this for a couple weeks now. And this is the H&H flat compressed gauze, so for packing wounds with. Again, pretty thin stuff, vacuum sealed, big thick containers, being able to put it on your ankle without it getting full of nasty stuff that you wouldn't want in a wound. And then I've got two chest seals that I found here from Hi-Fin Vent. It's a compact chest seal, but it works, and I put a link down below, and it fits inside this little pouch. So in the space that I used to have just a pressure dressing, I can put wound packing material and a chest seal, and it's actually thinner than the original pressure dressing I had. Much thinner, which is pretty cool. The other one I could conceal with just the pressure dressing, but then I only get a pressure dressing. Now I get a whole bunch more stuff, a whole lot more capabilities, and it's actually thinner and lighter. Well, maybe not lighter. It's definitely thinner than the stuff that I had before. And the whole thing doesn't weigh much of anything. Now, two other things that I found that I decided not to use. One was I was looking at going to a lighter tourniquet. So I have this old CAT tourniquet. I know it's not the current one. I'm going to put a link to the current one, the 7th generation CAT tourniquet, down below, but I have this CAT tourniquet, which is very light. The problem I ended up having with this was that I was putting it into these stretchy pouches, and it wasn't popping out, but you got to be careful with these that the hook side Velcro isn't rubbing up against your leg all day. So then I had to wear my socks higher. It became something that it just wasn't necessary because I carry a tourniquet on my gear at work. So I decided not to carry that, but for someone who doesn't carry a tourniquet on their vest or on their belt, it might be a good option to be able to put it in one of these pouches that closes here, or be able to put it in a way where you're not going to get it rubbing up against you. At least not the Velcro is going to rub up against you. And the other thing I found was this really, really thin seatbelt cutter. It has two cutter edges there. It's called the Clever Cutter with K's. I guess it's a good thing they didn't have another K word to put in there, but it's called Clever Cutter. I'm going to put a link to where you can get that down there too. This could easily slide in one of these elastic pouches with the tourniquet behind it, or behind a tourniquet, without too much trouble. The issue there becomes that there's a finite amount of stuff that you can put into this and wrap around your ankle before it becomes an issue of concealing it under there. And if you're not concealing it, then at that point you might as well just have a big bulging pocket with all this stuff in it. So that's the Lynx Defense Ankle Medical Kit. That's the stuff I found that I've decided not to carry, but might be interesting to you. And that's the stuff that I found that I have been carrying around, and I'm going to continue to carry around until we go to our new armor carriers. We're getting new body armor carriers at work, which is going to have MOLLE along the front of the carrier, so I'm hoping to be able to put some type of medical kit right on the carrier and not have to carry it on an ankle anymore. But the ankle medical kit, I've really liked the idea of it, especially being able to have a pressure dressing, because of all the things that I might be willing to just hand off to someone who's injured on the street, a $7 to $15 pressure dressing solves a lot of problems. If somebody's got a major bleed, there's no liability in handing this off to them. If, God forbid, we have an officer-involved shooting and we end up hitting somebody, and it looks a whole lot better for us in court if we render immediate aid, and this is a great way to be able to be like, whoop, pull it off the ankle, apply it on there, and then we can say at least that we rendered aid immediately after the shooting instead of waiting for EMS. Looks a lot better in court, and once the threat is gone, there's no reason not to render aid to somebody and have it immediately available. So as a liability thing, and as a medical device, and as an officer safety thing, I really don't see a whole lot of downsides to this stuff. So check out those links down below. That's what's going on with the kit people have asked, so I am telling you, it's the Lynx Defense Ankle Medical Kit, and after a couple weeks of wearing it every day, you can see it's getting some pills on here from me picking up stuff from walking through fields and through people's houses and stuff, but you can see the Velcro isn't really having any problems. We're not having any rips or tears or anything into the kit. And the elastic, with the limited use that I'm giving it, just sticking gloves in there, hasn't had any issues. But it doesn't appear like it would have any issues anyway. When I was putting the big tourniquets in there, we weren't having problems. So that's where we're at with it. Until next week, you guys be safe and take care of each other. I'd like to thank all the Patreon supporters, and especially the shift supervisor level Patreon supporters that we have listed here. Your contributions are what allows free field training to continue on and become better. Thank you.